Good morning. I love 8 o'clock coffee. I always remembered it brewing in my mother's little coffee pot. It had a little glass top and it sat on the burner and, dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun. Do you remember that commercial? It wasn't about 8 o'clock coffee. I think that was a Maxwell House commercial. Anyhow, I gotta make this I gotta make this work the first time around because this morning I am truly going to take Finn to school. So I gotta have my act together this morning. Maggie really needs help to be able to pack it up because it's almost May and they'll be starting to move into the new house on the 22nd. So bless her heart. Anyway, it must be a hard struggle. She has to pack up, and Finn has a lot of toys and books. She has to pack up a lot of it, and he asks for things, and they can't find it because it's in a box. So, yeah, I get it. So I want to help as much as I can. Then I'm going to have to help myself, but we'll talk about that another time. So I was thinking about when I was 13. I lived in Hampton, New Hampshire. And we had bought a brand new house. It was a ranch, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And there was me and my mom and dad and 3 brothers. Joey and I had to share a room until John moved out. And then Joey moved in with Phil, my other brother, and I got my own room. That was nice. I was the only girl. It was good of them to do that. So, oh my, I don't like to think about those days sometimes. I get flashbacks of unhappy memories. And, but I want to talk about a happy one. So, I had heard my oldest brother, talking about Boston, and I had remembered going there as a child, and I'll talk about that sometime, my experiences in Boston at Christmas time. But right now I want to talk about when I was 13 and I found out that Continental Trailways had a bus from the center of Hampton to Boston. I was all in. So I talked to one of my friends from junior high and I said, let's go to Boston for a whole day. And our parents agreed to it. So we got on that bus and oh, the thrill and the excitement. We were going somewhere different. I always loved the idea of going anywhere. I just loved to see something new. I gotta recapture that thrill in my heart. To not be afraid, because sometimes I am. But then I was fearless. And when we got off the bus, we were looking around. Where do we go first? Where should we start? I had remembered, my mother told me a few places. You should go to Jordan Marsh. Jordan Marsh. Does anybody remember that? They had the most amazing blueberry muffins. They had a little cafe. Jordan Marsh blueberry muffins. You can still find the recipe online. Oh, they had this chunky little crystally sugar on top, and they were big and, the best tasting muffin I think I'd ever had, even to this day. So, get off the bus and we're walking around and this guy starts yelling about, lady, please buy some flowers. I was just a kid. So I went over and he had some really beautiful flowers and I bought some. I love you, lady, he said. Just like out of a movie. He's yelling, I love this lady. She buys flowers. And so other people started to come and buy flowers too. And we laughed and we walked around and we went to Jordan Marsh, bargain basement. I love a bargain. Even then I loved a bargain. And oh my God, what a madhouse it was. You would have thought they were giving stuff away. There were just piles and piles of clothes. Maybe I just didn't understand designers back then. Were there designers back then? And they were, and grabbing from each other. We just stood there and enjoyed the entertainment. I didn't find anything. I was looking for a bikini, but I was very shy of my body. Even though I'd kill to have that body now, of course. And I would have flaunted it. But back then, I was very self-conscious. Everything about me was wrong. I didn't look like the cheerleaders. I had boobs and ass. What do you do about a thing like that? Ah, yes. Anyway, I don't know. The cheerleaders they were tall and thin and long legs. I have more of a long torso than long legs. And boy, did that make it hard to find a one-piece bathing suit. They were never long enough because my torso was a little longer than the average, I guess. Go figure. Two-piece. I didn't want to wear a two-piece. I didn't want anybody to see my stomach. I was so shy. So embarrassed of who I was. It was sad. Now I don't give a damn. Of course, I don't want to scare anyone at the beach, and that's why I wear the bicycle shorts, because I have really fat thighs, and it's why I wear the little tank top tunic, because I have a really fat stomach. Damn it! I want to be thin. I at least want to be smaller. I'm working on it. I've actually lost 39 pounds. It was 40, but it looks like I put a pound on. I don't know why. How'd I do that? Might have been the cookies. I thought that I could eat a cookie a day and found that I couldn't. And then one day when I was particularly angry, I just ate 4 of them. That was 280 calories that I hadn't planned on. Anyway, we found a little Chinese restaurant. It was so dank and dark and weird looking with little red leather seat booths, vinyl, the vinyl red and a weird little diner table, but it was a little Chinese diner, and it had the little funny things hanging from the ceiling, like little lanterns and little oddities, and the food was so good. Nowadays, it's almost like it's factory made at a lot of these quickie Chinese places. It's just not. But then, how can I explain it? Crispy, crunchy, savory, sweet, salty, just everything about it was amazing. And there was this stocking shop, just stockings. And back then, we wore stockings. We had the garter belt, remember? And you had the nylons that you clipped onto the garter belt. And, but they had a lot of pantyhose. And pantyhose were a thing at the time. In every color in the universe. In styles, there was fishnet, and there was laced, and there was every type of stocking in this cute little tiny shop. But there was just rows and rows and drawers of stockings. And I had some kind of blue, not like navy, just like blue. And I got some purple, and I just loved bright colors that appealed to me. And I even got a pair of black fishnet. We had mini skirts back then. Now they're all mini skirts, aren't they? I love to flaunt my beautiful stockings. What was the name of that stocking place? I wish I could. Just a side street in Boston, and there it was. My mother had found it. I guess I had been there with my mother. She was such a daring person. But more recently, several years ago, it was not as recent as you think. No, back in 2015, I think, my son Dennis went into Boston. He said, I'll never go there again. He said, you can't find your way in and you can't find your way out. And once you get in, you can't get out. Sounded horrible. I think I did it once, though, but I can't remember. Yes, with Dennis. We went into Boston to sell a gold bar, but he was clever. He could figure out everything. We got in, and we did get out, but it was tough. Crazy Boston. It used to be so simple back then. It was one way in and one way out. And then you were on 95 or Route 1. I loved Route 1's Saugus. They had a Jordan Marsh too, but I loved that Jordan Marsh because it was so easy to get in and park. Gigantic, the Saugus Plaza, right on Route 1. And you take your exit, and it was this humongous parking lot. Just tons of space. And Jordan Marsh was the big department store. And there were lots of other little stores. It was more of an open mall. They hadn't come up with the closed-in malls yet. Not in our area, anyway. Not in New England. And I liked it. You know, Christmas time, it was all dressed up. They'd bring out these gigantic wooden soldiers. They were huge. They were like the size of a building. You know what I'm saying? And it was just so much fun. Oh, life was so simple then. I want to go back. Reverse this damn clock. I want to go back in time. If anyone out there has a time machine, could you please lend it to me? Elon Musk, send me back. I want to go back to the 70s and stay there. If Elon ever develops one and has mercy on me, I would like to go back in time. Thank you. Well, I'm sure that's not going to happen in the near future. I bought a Powerball ticket. I wonder if I won. I can't find out here on this because I have to use my phone to see if I won. And you can't just pause your camera on this and come back. Why? Why not? What a stupid invention. You'd think it would have all kinds of bells and whistles. I don't consider these phones bells and whistles. I consider them aggravation. But at least it works. I'm being nice, phone. Don't do something evil. I appreciate my phone. I'm glad I have it. And it does make relatively okay videos. Maybe not fantastic, but good enough. So my trip to Boston, Cindy, she moved away. Ugh. And we lost contact. What is it with that when you're young? I guess they get another life and they just stop writing. Yeah. It seemed I always had this one best friend. That was the person you did everything with for like that year. And then the next year they seemed to move on and you found someone else. I don't know what it was about junior high, but it was like that. Elementary school. I wasn't cool enough in junior high. I was a very odd man out. I was. I couldn't get into what everyone else was getting into. They all wanted to party and drink, and I had done that and didn't like it. I wanted to ride my bike to the beach and go watch the waves come in and go out. I liked hanging out at this little cafe where people would come in the evening and they'd sing songs and play guitar. It was really nice. It was some good times. They had fried dough. They used Pillsbury roll. You know, the Pillsbury rolls. And they'd take the little flat, round piece. They'd roll it out. You know, after you break the can open. They'd roll it out and they'd put it in, fry it in a deep fryer. And then, you know, sprinkle confectioner's sugar, which, you know, went drizzled all over the place and melted and was all gooey and delicious. And then, you know, some of the places were really fancy, like, what was the name of that one fried dough place? Ah, come on, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Blinks! Blinks! Like, Blink's fried dough. And oh man, they had like that lemon, they call it lemon curd. It's the stuff that goes inside lemon bars. They had that you could layer on. Of course, it was extra. Blueberries, you know, like almost like compote. But my favorite was always just the sugar because it was all like a cinnamon roll. Before cinnamon rolls were a thing. They didn't sell cinnamon rolls back then. It was fried dough. I don't remember cinnamon rolls. I remember glazed donuts. I remember Mr. Donuts in, was it Portsmouth, New Hampshire? And there might have been one in Dover, New Hampshire. Mr. Donuts. It looked like a W. And I remember my brother Joey, who is developmentally disabled, he said, now there's an example of learning without being taught. He's looking at the sign and he said, Worcester Donuts. Because the M looked like a W. Worcester Donuts. And we all just stopped and looked at him because it was the first time he read something. And he was little. He must have been about 2 years old. There was something genius about him. Because it wasn't genetic, his damage. It was inflicted at birth. The stupid, drunken-ass doctor crushed his skull with forceps. The little baby. I don't like to talk about that. It's too much sadness. Though Joey and I were the best of friends growing up. Where is God? Where is God? Is there God? And if there is, why? I just would like to know why. Why what? Why everything? Well, I have stuff I gotta do. So I'm going to end this video here. It was a little muddled. I went around here and there. But I just wanted to remember those days. Happy days of shopping with my friends, shopping with my mom. Finding beautiful things. Oh, they had such beautiful clothes back then. They sure don't make them like they used to. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. I'll see you again tomorrow. Hey, I made it through another morning video. I figured out something to say. There will be more memories to come. Bye.